Welcome back, everyone, for another exciting match for the Ori and the Blind Forest All Skills Tournament. Joined with me for commentary for this one is going to be Melvin. Dude, what's up?
Hey there, very excited for this race between Richard, or ogNdrahciR, and Monkley. These two runners are incredibly close, so this should be a joy to watch.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. They actually met earlier in the tournament, and Richard was able to eke out a win. So here we have the bracket, right? And so you'll notice that in the upper bracket, in the round of 64, we see that Richard actually faced off against Monkley and ended up pulling out a win, which was considered an upset. But now they are back with a vengeance in the lower finals. This cannot be any more tense, Melvin.
Indeed, and despite the fact that Richard has the slightly higher seed, Monkley does have the slightly better PB, so even coming into this match again, Richard's still the underdog, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy too, because Richard actually ended up PBing like really recently with a 32-10, but Monkley, as you mentioned, is actually slightly favored for this match with a PB of 30-31, so going to be exciting to see what our runners bring to the table. If Monkley just plays a really strong game, he could actually just eke out a victory no matter what Richard does. But wow, Melvin, Richard has just been improving so much through this tournament. It's been insane to see.
Yeah, definitely. Although I was talking with both the runners, and I think Richard told you about this as well, that they've been doing some practice races against each other.
Oh boy.
And, their times were less than impressive. 34s and 35s, so we could see some serious spaghetti in this race.
Yeah, for sure. And like this is Ori, right? And so in Ori, we definitely sort of sacrifice a lot of saves in certain places because they cost energy, and we can use energy as a resource to also try and go a little bit quicker. So in these really insanely tight areas, it's very easy to take a big dynamic death that could end up swinging the lead to one shape or another. And so it'll be exciting to see if the races are spaghetti filled, or are we going to see quite the match today.
Indeed, we've talked a lot in this tournament about the major deaths you can take in the early game, these deaths before wall jump that cost a lot of time. But if we don't see any safety saves, you can see those same deaths in the late game getting sent back from nearly at climb all the way to Sunstone or something like that. So,
yeah, touche, Melvin. And it looks like our racers are ready, so we are going to get this race underway. You're going to see Richard on the left and Monkley on the right.
Indeed, and they are about to get started. And we won't expect to see much in the early game. I know Richard was saying that he's been practicing a lot the first Frankie fight, so kind of look for him doing that no-stop Frankie fight. Hopefully he doesn't mess it up.
Yeah, for sure. Because like in the early game, there's not a lot of like skills and abilities we have right now. So because of this, a lot of the movement comes down to pressing a direction key, jumping at the right time, and then being able to pace your shots accurately. So maybe Richard trying to take like a few split seconds or even a full second lead coming out of this area. It literally can come down to be this close. But we see Monkley with a tiny bit of lead in this first strip.
Yeah, very, very slight. Also, some nice color codes out of him getting this like pinkish purple here. That's
oh, man.
Very stylish.
Oh, the dark purple, I hope that doesn't carry all the way to BRB, because if he has to do Blackroot Burrows with the dark purple, that's like impossible. Like, it's already hard enough to see the platforms, and now let alone your character.
Yeah, definitely. Thankfully, the save and quit before BRB would fix that.
That's really... But yeah, here we go. We're at the Frankie fight. Monkley is going to be pacing his shots first. Nicely done, getting those 5 shots out really fast. And, oh, Richard has to take a slight stop and, ooh, takes a tiny proc of damage, Melvin.
Yeah, that's not what he's planning on doing there, but it's definitely possible to recover from that. Both runners will be looking to take 2 damage before they get to the ghost door, so they'll just need to avoid a later damage that he normally darts in.
Yeah, for sure. And so both of our runners at 2 HP currently. Monkley with a clean power pad, and oh, Richard gets a little bit trolled by a pickup animation for the health, splitting those animations. So Ori had to do the, I got a thing, right? And had to do it for both individual pickups instead of being able to stack that. So a little bit unfortunate, so Monkley's going to take a tiny bit of a lead going into this ghost door, but both of our runners seem to be managing their health well, Melvin.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like Richard was able to destroy some of the brambles down by the BRB teleporter, so he'll have a little bit of a shorter time when he comes back on his way into BRB.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that could be really important. Oh, Monkley actually had 2 HP, so he had to swim down the fish and die. And oh, so did Richard. So no delta change there, as both of them, I believe, are going to be heading up and grabbing this 4th health. Yep, looks like both of them are.
Makes a lot of sense. It's quite a bold call to not get this health cell early in the game.
Yeah, lots of things that deal 2 to 3 damage, and with a starting health of only 3, that can make a lot of, like, certain parts of the early game, and especially the late game, really, really terrifying.
Monkley took an extra damage on his way down off of one of the 2 slimes there. He should still be fine, but we'll have to see if he chooses to go for the bramble skip here coming up.
Yeah, really interesting. So there's a 2 damage boost that Monkley could be doing, so keep your eyes peeled to the right. He is still going to go for it, so that must mean that Monkley is probably somewhere around 1 health, so he's going to have to be a little bit careful. Richard not going for this damage boost, so Monkley with the time level up is going to be able to make it to wall jump, and Richard also leveling up on the way down. So Monkley opening up just a tiny bit of a lead for going for that damage boost.
Yeah, but very good XP routing by both the runners. Neither of them missing that level up on the way in that they were looking for, and both coming into wall jump with fairly respectable times.
Yep, and I don't know if Richard has the chat open, but Ori Fuquaza Shaka. Because I remember last time he was in this matchup, he took it a lot more seriously, but he usually types that out in all caps whenever he erases. So there you go, Richard. That one's for you.
Yeah, I know talking with Richard before the race, he said he'll have Monkley stream up, but he's not going to be watching the restream or the chat. That he's taking this race very seriously. He really wants to win. Ooh, Monkley having a little bit of trouble with that jump up here. He does get it the 2nd try, but ooh, and with some failed wall jumping, that means that Richard now takes the lead here. Oh, nope. It's back to Monkley. I can't tell. This is very close right now.
This is so crazy. Like, this is amazing. Like, both runners are exchanging tiny little optimizations here and there with each other. Monkley just missing 1 tiny jump, but going for that 2 damage boost on this force down to wall jump, and Richard doing the exact opposite. And so both of them being synced up in here is kind of expected, but it's also really impressive to see. Both runners are giving each other a run for them.
Yeah, and Monkley now extends his lead slightly as Richard missed a jump there, but it's still so close.
Oh yeah, for sure. And up here is going to be one of the sort of scarier sections that we were talking about earlier, where we can see our first really major costly death, as both of them are going to be going in now. Richard's EXP is actually really high. He might actually have to kill an extra slime. I couldn't see if that was 48 or 49.
Looked like 48 to me. So if he kills 3 slimes, he'll be okay. It's still a little high, but kind of definitely in position to still do Frankie walk off that.
Yeah, that's good. So basically, we're going to be killing off a Frankie to do a sequence break a little bit later on, and we want to be within 19 experience of a level up after we go through here and kill off certain slimes and grab some extra experience here and there. So Richard's still in a good position, but Monkley's going to be saving a bit of those frames when he goes to take that level up.
Richard does collect all 12 of that XP. He had missed the 10 orb on his way in, but it sticks around for a little while. And very clean jumping up to that XP orb there. And there's the next set of 12 that he'll be collecting.
Yeah, so upcoming here, we're going to see what the cycles the runners have generated for themselves on both of these lasers in the platforms in the following area. Monkley, with a little bit of a slip-up, has to wait for an extra laser cycle, while Richard is now quitting out and reloading in order to set the cycle for the next 2 platform sections. But Monkley is not, so our runners are practically synced here, with Monkley with a tiny bit of a lead.
Yeah, Monkley's choosing not to go for that save and quit because he had slightly slower movement, so it wouldn't have saved him any time. Richard very close behind, though. Less than a full platform cycle behind.
Yeah, look at that. Our runners are practically synced up right now, going into dash stream. This is so hype. I hope this race just stays this close, Melvin, for like the entire run, and they just keep trading like seconds here and there.
Oh man, I would be so excited to see that.
Oh yeah, Monkley with a tiny bit of a better platform manipulation for this last room. Richard choosing to play it a little bit safe, so maybe losing a second here, but I like this decision from Richard, right? He made it all the way through Black Root Burrows in this final platform section. If he had missed that, he would have lost like 8 to 14 seconds or whatever, right? And that could have been a huge lead that Monkley could have opened up early. And since the race was pretty close last time when they met in the bracket stage, Richard's definitely not wanting to take a huge time loss here. Look at that. Both of them are within 19 experience of leveling up when they head to the next trick. Just doing another save anywhere to skip this cutscene.
Yeah, definitely. And I think taking those like slightly weaker optimizations, only going to save like kind of the like 6 or 7 seconds instead of the full 8 type of thing, makes a lot of sense in this race. Like you don't necessarily need it. You can expect your opponent to make small mistakes like that, but losing a full amount of time is a very big deal.
You know, that's a really great point, Melvin. And as you mentioned, we got a chance to talk to Richard, especially beforehand, and he mentioned that he's really focusing on playing himself for this race. So if he's able to up his consistency in certain really bottleneck regions with only taking minimal time losses, that could be the race decider for him. And now both of our runners are heading into Frankie Walk.
Yeah, definitely. Richard immediately having a little bit of trouble with this Frankie. Decided not to jump after him, but he does get the Frankie to aggro, and it will follow him along to its inevitable death.
Yeah, nicely done. Both of them managing the health of the Frankie as they're traveling through. Monkley is going to be the first to reach the 4 energy door, gets a successful kill and the level up, so he is through the door, but he has to make it through Death Gauntlet, and Richard is close behind.
And he also gets his kill, gets the level up, and is into Death Gauntlet as well. Looks like Monkley's not going for Death Glide. Richard said if he's not at 1 health, he will be attempting this. So we'll see. Looks like, yep, he is at 2 health.
Oh, no, Richard takes a death glide because he ran into one of the spores and it shoved him backwards away from the wall, falling instantaneously into another one. So this opens up a huge lead for Monkley as Richard has to do the entirety of Frankie Walk again.
That's about the worst possible outcome with Death Glide. Looks like Monkley did miss his early grotto cycle, so Richard will have the opportunity to make up 8 seconds there, but he is back quite a bit right now.
Yeah, for sure. So Monkley now just having a commanding lead coming into double jump tree. These big deaths are what's going to give Monkley the lead advantage here. So as long as he plays smooth and consistent and doesn't make any big mistakes in the rest of the run, he could clinch out a victory. But Richard is definitely going to be fiercely fighting his way back to close that delta.
Yeah, definitely. And we see Monkley starting his blind movement here as Richard now goes into his second attempt at the Death Gauntlet. I have a feeling that he's going to choose not to go for Death Glide this time after what just happened.
Oh my goodness, Milden. He's going for it, and he gets it. The damage boost popping him over this time, and he's going to make it to the energy cell and probably place a safety save. Yeah, nicely done, Richard.
I like the nice little dash glide while getting that energy cell so that he was able to bring the energy cell animation down to the bottom.
Yeah, it was an interesting bit of flavor. And now Monkley on the right is going to go for a pretty difficult trick, which is known as Grotto Skip. Not quite getting it first try, not second try either, so Monkley struggling a little bit, but gets up there third try. If Richard is just able to nail that trick, that's going to close a bit of the delta, but Monkley's still definitely in the lead, but misses the cutscene moment. Oh no!
Oh no, he has rocks now. This is something that very few runners have practiced, so we'll see how he deals with this.
Yeah, so each of these rocks has a damage and also a slight knockback effect, so Monkley doing his best not to get hit by one because it also deals damage, stuns Ori for a tiny bit of time, but also has a knockback. But Monkley just expertly going through, but having to spend a couple seconds to be able to get through this section, Melvin.
Yeah, that was definitely slower than he would normally have through there, but some very nice dodges up until the end there to avoid taking any damage. I'm sure he'll be very happy with the outcome of that missed cutscene skip.
Yeah, Richard. We're also getting word that Richard had a little bit of trouble with the Crusher Keystone pickup, so he had to wait for an extra cycle, so that was about an 8-second time loss for him. But doing the blind movement with double jump, we're going to see exactly where he ends up, and wow, look at that. And blind movement from Richard, that's really impressive. I can't do that. Oh,
yeah, man. That was great blind movement there. Hopefully he's able to make up some time compared to Monkley here with this Grotto Skip. Which Monkley had a little bit of trouble with, and then also that Falling Rocks cutscene.
Yeah, for sure. And we're going to see Richard go for this Grotto Skip right now, and doesn't quite get it first try. Setting up, doesn't get it second try either. Let's see if he gets it third try. No, not quite. Oh man, and getting up there fourth try is still pretty decent, but not closing any of that time gap. But it looks like, yeah, he nails the rekindle.
Yeah, he's fine and will not have to deal with these rocks on the way up here. Monkley has grabbed the Kura cutscene cell and is now pulling out this rock, so he'll quickly grab this swamp teleporter, and then he'll be into Ginso, which is a very fun dungeon. A lot of room, some very little optimizations with double jump in there.
Yeah, I absolutely love Ginso Tree, Melvin. It's just like after you get past all of that Moon Grotto really tricky and tight double jump movement, you just get to go into this dungeon and try and work through some cycles for the first like half of it. But that being said, we see also Richard going and tackling this difficult double jump movement too, leading up. It'll be interesting to see what both of our runners do in Ginso Tree though, Melvin.
Yeah, definitely. There's some possibilities to go for some early cycles in the second room. I expect both runners will be going for the fast cycle, but not the fastest kind of crazy cycle. Ooh, Monkley missing a jump there, but is able to recover and dodge the slime, and now enters the second room with gamers.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It can be really easy to sort of get bamboozled and then just lose where you are. And oh, Monkley just slightly missing a dash glide, so not quite getting that human fast cycle that you mentioned, Melvin, but having just to wait for the gamer or the grimer in order to get past. And Richard making quick work of a lot of these really tricky and minute double jumps in order to make his way to Thornfelt Swamp Teleporter. Monkley definitely still in the lead here, but Richard just putting on a clinic with this really tight movement as well.
Yeah, we'll have to see when he gets to the Ginso Tree if he was able to make up any time compared to Monkley. He's had very good movement through here, but Monkley's movement was also quite good, so it's hard to know if they were both able to make all of the same optimizations.
Yeah, for sure. And as we see Richard entering Ginso, we see Monkley on the right going into the first mini-boss fight. His shot pacing at the Frankies in the beginning of the run was really clean, and we're seeing that same consistency in this mini-boss room. Nicely done from Monkley. It looks like he's on pace for a 5 cycle, but takes 2 damage. He cannot get shot by any of these shots or fall into the spikes again. And so it looks like, yeah, he's going to be able to make it through and place a save in order to manipulate his health for an intentional death coming up here from Monkley.
It's a good thing he got so many 10 shots in the early part, because he did miss some shots at the later section, but was still able to pull off a great 5 cycle there.
Yeah, wow, and it looks like Richard able to close a little bit of the delta, just a couple of seconds, but still, that tiny little room can really grow as we progress through the run. If Richard just keeps playing clean like this and waits for Monkley to make one slip-up, that could be what brings him back into this race.
Yeah, definitely. Richard is very likely looking for Monkley to make a mistake in order to have a chance at coming back here, but there's still a lot of run to go, and there's a lot of hard tricks, so it's not outside the realm of a possibility that Monkley does end up making a mistake.
Yeah, speaking of which, Monkley now trying to move these shots around. Oh, takes a high bash, so it's hard to catch up, but gets it. Nice recovery from Monkley. Good adaptation as he's heading up to Kidu. And it looks like he indeed is going for this mortar shot. Nicely done, and gets the damage, placing the save. So Monkley's position there on that save when he goes up for this intentional death is actually going to save him about 2 seconds from placing the save a little bit lower. So nicely done.
Richard already having a little bit of trouble with this mini-boss. He got a slow spawn and also has missed a couple shots. I've lost track of the counting, but I think that was a 6 cycle, so was still able to recover fairly cleanly.
Oh yeah, and Richard not being able to place a safety save here for that health manipulation. If he takes an unintentional death, he's going to have to do the mini-boss fight again. But Monkley, really clean key dupe section, is going to be able to be the first to make it to the second mini-boss, and then he's going to teleport out for his attempts at Swamp Entry.
It looks like Richard is clear, and he's gotten his save off for this ghost door, and he is now on his way to the Bash Tree as Monkley is teleporting out and will be attempting his Swamp Entry trick. I remember from some of his past races, he'd had a little bit of trouble with this. Some of the bash angles weren't quite right, so we'll see if he's put some practice in and is able to get this a little more successfully.
Yeah, it looks like we see that Monkley, nice stat there, said in 5 attempts for getting through Swamp Entry, he got it 3 out of 5 times. So we're going to see if he can improve that percentage by getting a first try. Richard accidentally baiting over a mortar shot a little bit too far to the wall, so has to go back, waits another cycle on the shot, and Monkley on the right going for a Swamp Entry. No.
He takes a little bit of damage from the frog, but since he'll be going for the double bash method, that doesn't matter at all. Gets the shot to follow him down, does miss the double bash, so he'll have to go back up for another shot. Looks like, oh, he misses the double bash again, so definitely having some trouble here. Goes up for the third shot, and that looks good, and he is through. Having a little bit of trouble with that wall there on his way out, though.
Yeah. That's really good from Meldon, right? Like, just being able to get past that trick without taking a death is really, really important. And just, like, resetting up for those double bash shots, Meldon did excuse me, not Meldon, Monkley did a really good job of getting through, but oh no, he's stuck down below. He only has 1 health, but he's going to save, and he's, like, stranded over here, but that save actually just stranded him there. So what is he gonna do, Meldon?
So what he can actually do here is he could try and damage boost up the right side. Yep, there we go. He does it. What a nice recovery from Monkley there.
That's crazy. And oh no, just misses the bash and double jump. Richard now is going for his attempts at fast stomp. I mean, not fast stomp, on swamp entry really, really soon. If he is able to get through there in a really short period of time, this is going to actually make up a good bit of the delta.
Our restreamer Sigma is pointing out that Monkley ended up using the respawn iframes in order to jump up those brambles or spikes so that he could get onto that swinging platform. So a very interesting use of a game mechanic that you don't normally see in the All Skills run.
Wow, that's incredible. Really nice adaptation from Monkley. And now our runners are going to be high-fiving as Richard, oh no, takes a bit of damage falling into the poison water, but just setting up a save. Oh, he's going to take a death. So he's actually going to reset up for his swamp entry, as now Monkley is heading past him and going for the ability cell.
Yeah, I think Richard wants to have, oh, he saves the frog once, but isn't able to save it another time. I think he wants to have 3 health for taking 1 more damage on the spikes up by the frog. So having a little bit of trouble with this trick. Likely isn't making up any time on Monkley at this point.
Yeah, this trick is very, very unforgiving. If the frog touches any of that poison water, he just dies instantaneously. Nicely done. Richard taking the 2 damage boosts on 1 health. Oh, the frog shot phases through the floor, so he has to bait another one, but really, really nicely done from him. It's really easy to say, yo, that shot looks good, and then actually run a frog, woo, almost bashes himself down into the frog, but is able to redirect Ori before he takes an unintentional death. So Richard's going to make it to Stomp Tree, but as you said, Meldon, not quite making up much of that delta.
Yeah, Monkley, on the other hand, was able to get Kuro cutscene skipped successfully, and has now skipped the Spider Sack cutscene and is on his way to Charge Flame. Looks like the Frunky does follow him down, so he'll be able to get out of here quite easily.
Yeah, nice play from Monkley there. Making it to Charge Flame Tree first is going to be setting up a save anywhere in order to be able to skip another cutscene from here. So it may be difficult to see what he's doing right now, but he's just going to jump over a teleporter. And oh no, doesn't quite get the full dash glide over, so he's going to have a bit of a slow zone walk as he's going through. But no problem from Monkley, just no major mistakes from him besides when he went into swamp, and he recovered from that mistake really quickly, Meldon.
Yeah, indeed. He's making some small mistakes, like you said, but nothing major, so only giving Richard the opportunity to make up a couple seconds here or there. And if Richard makes his own mistakes, then that becomes very difficult.
Yeah, exactly, because Monkley has the lead advantage right now. So as long as Monkley can just play as clean as Richard, or even just slightly cleaner, he can just hold on to this lead. But now, heading up for the next big trick, Meldon.
Yeah, now we do have Fast Stompless coming up. Monkley will be going off of these couple birds, and it looks like he's only 50-50 on this trick, so we'll see how it goes. This involves a very careful spider shot, and then also some very difficult movement. And it looks like that shot angle seems fine. Monkley liked it as well, and he does get the spider to shoot, so looks fine on this so far, and he is good.
Yeah, nicely done from Monkley. That was a really important bottleneck trick. And what we didn't mention out of Richard is that he actually nailed Kuro cutscene skip. Nicely done. But also picked up a 5th health cell a little bit earlier than Monkley. So he's going to be rocking that 5 HP for tricks such as Sorrow Bash and whatnot. That can be really difficult and unforgiving because of the 4 damage spikes.
Yeah, I really like having that 5th health for all of Sorrow. It just gives you a little extra safety, and even if you're placing safety saves, not dying on the first hit can save you a lot of time.
Yeah, and here we go, Monkley on the next big trick, which is known as Sorrow Bash. Not placing a safety save up there to conserve energy. Is going to double bash the bird up, but takes a death. Melvin, that's going to send him all the way back down into Valley. Richard still pretty far behind, only at Flame Tree right now, but a couple more deaths like that from Monkley, and Richard's back in this race.
Yeah, it looks like he's a little higher up, so the bird's in a good position. Ooh, he does take some damage on the bird, but does avoid damage on spikes and is through Sorrow Bash. And we see he has grabbed this cell and Rocket Jondon up here, but he is on low health. Definitely cannot afford taking any more damage from spikes or other sources.
Yeah, look at that. He's taking the extra wide berth from the frog instead of bashing off of the frog, because he can just accidentally dash in there. And here, Monkley in Sunchip Sanctuary, if he licks any of these delicious chips, he just dies instantly, but that's okay. That was an intentional death in order to open the key door a little bit quicker. Now, Richard is going to be heading to Fast Stompless. Then he also has to do Sorrow Bash, but if he gets the first try Sorrow Bash, that's a big chunk of that delta that Richard is going to take a bite out.
Yeah, we'll also see if Richard goes for some slightly faster movement through Sorrow, since he doesn't have as big a risk of dying there since he'll have 5 health.
Yeah, I like this from Richard. There's a little bit of flavor that he likes to work in his run, where he gets C-Dash a little bit earlier after picking up that ability cell. And so, yeah, look at that. Stompless, flawless. Come on, Richard. You got this, man. First try. Let's go. And the shot looks good. Takes a little extra time to line up the angle. That also looks good. So taking a damage boost to be able to get up here a little bit quicker. Is he going to get Stempless? Oh!
That was so close to getting Stempless there. Very impressive movement through that section, but he is successfully through Stompless. That damage boost making quick work of the movement.
Yeah, oh man, that was so close. That was literally like a split second away from getting to Feather a little bit quicker, which saves a few seconds. So that's really awesome to see Richard to go for those crazy strats like that. So it doesn't cost him any time to go for it, and just narrowly missing it. But Monkley, on an insane pace, Melvin, just being able to work his way through Sorrow without too much trouble, and then already is on his way out. So another high five from our runners. Monkley just not giving Richard any chance to be able to catch up.
Yeah, for those who don't know what Stempless is, it's a trick where if you bash on the same frame that cutscene starts, then you're able to skip a part of it and start walking early. But it is a frame-perfect trick, and the only way to know the setup is to have counted the number of frames since you shot the spider shot. So it is basically impossible for a human to actually time that, and we just kind of guess randomly and try to bash at the right time. Very few people even bother trying for it, though.
Yeah, for sure, Melvin. And we see Monkley doing some killer movement, going through Missy. This is a great area for an exhibition of some advanced movement techniques, using charge dash to move faster and then stomping and jumping out of that in order to be able to continue the chain without losing energy. But Richard got Sorrow Bash first try and is at charge jump tree, so not giving Monkley any more room in that lead vantage. So really nicely done. And oh, Monkley not quite getting the dash off of a slime that he wanted to, but still at full health, so he can take 1 hit from those 3 damage spikes, but is able to make it through to climb tree. That's a really nice waypoint for him.
And we see Richard doing this long SA all the way from the Ghost Door. He has had a very good movement through here, so definitely not losing any more time and potentially saving some more time on Monkley compared to his Sorrow. Does have to wait on these lasers, so that'll cost him a little bit of time, but is now floating up to Sunstone, where he will be skipping another cutscene. I feel like skipping cutscenes is basically the only constant in Ori speedruns. Yeah, for sure. It's like, it's kind of funny because a lot of the cutscenes, they just have a skip cutscene thing that we click, but we just end up using like saves in weird ways and locations to be able to not have to watch any of it. This is definitely not your normal playthrough of Ori. But that being said, Monkley making quick work, but taking a proc of damage only on 1 health. Would not be surprised to see him place the safety save, and he does. Nicely done. Good decision making from Monkley, and so that doesn't really lose too much time, but if he took an unintentional death here, he would be sent back to that save instead of all the way back to climb tree. So Monkley definitely wanting to hold on to that lead as much as possible. Did look like he saved before he'd collected that energy, so if he does go back to that, he will be down some energy. So, ooh, and a little bit of interesting. Oh, does take a death at the mini-boss. Yeah, and having a little bit of difficulty there, decides to stomp down into the spikes there. Had forgotten to go back and collect the keystone. Yeah, so he's only at 2 energy, and he'll be doing a rocket jump right here, so that leaves him at 1 energy coming into this next section.
Yeah, in one hand, Meldon, you're absolutely right. Like, he lost so much energy for that, so he's going to have to be so careful and carefully measure how he's going to go about this mini-boss kill. And now, like, with that, he also saved a lot of time, because if he hadn't placed that safety save, he would have ended up going back to the tree, but takes another death. So Richard now, in Misty, is almost on his way to Climb Tree. And so if Richard is just able to get through this section and get past this bottleneck that Monkley finds himself in, we could have a race. Oh my goodness. Please, Monkley, take my energy, man.
He's getting a lot of value out of this save, though, so it's a good thing he placed it down.
Yeah.
Richard having not very much difficulty, did get a very lucky energy drop from a slime earlier after burning an energy, so he's had a kind of a lucky Misty here, and is now successfully at the Climb Tree.
Man, this mini-boss is looking like it took some lessons from the Gandalf slime, Meldon. It just does not want to let Monkley pass, but boom, taking some extra time to bash in the shots, but Richard now very close behind on that movement, definitely like within a minute of his opponent, able to move through this section with post haste. But no, Richard takes a death. Oh, this is not what he wants right now.
No, and he gets sent back to the Climb Tree, and we'll have to redo the movement here to the 3rd keystone. Monkley, on the other hand, is through his key door and is on his way out of Misty, and he will be teleporting to collect the last skill. Looks like Richard doesn't have any difficulty getting to the 3rd keystone this time.
Yeah, absolutely, Meldon. I mean, like, this is it, right? Only a couple more minutes of Ori left for Monkley. If he goes through the remainder of the sections and doesn't have any more hiccups, this is definitely Monkley's race to lose. But Richard is just able to continue to tear on if he doesn't take any more unintentional deaths and is able to get through that mini-boss first try. Could claw back some distance, but no! Oh, Richard taking a death and having to go all the way back to the save. Not quite all the way to the tree, but just giving Monkley some extra padding.
Yeah, I was just going to say that he had taken some damage earlier and was down to 2 health, and was hoping he was in a place to save just after those spikes, but he ran face first into them instead.
Yeah, and Monkley now is going to make it to the final skill tree, so this is it. He has Sunstone. He has every single skill tree. The only thing that's remaining for him is his 2nd arrival at Thornfeld Swamp, Horu Fields, and then Mount Horu itself. Richard taking a proc of damage, but still has 2 health. Let's see if he decides to place a safety save right before the mini-boss. Is going to do that. So with 2 energy, and then going for his strat, dealing with the mini-boss 1 at a time, is able to get through their first try. But Monkley now heading to the teleporter.
Yeah, very clean mini-boss from Richard, but some other mistakes in Misty means he has not made up any time, and he is still very far behind for this point in the race. At this point, it would be Monkley needs to make a lot of mistakes for Richard to have a chance at coming back.
Yeah, Monkley actually took about a 10 to a 15-second death by dying in the laser, but able to get through their 2nd try and makes it up to the 5th health cell. But we'll see whether Monkley decides to go for 6 health or just to take the 5 health, because the swimming section in the final escape is still poisonous. So he can do it with 5 health, but he has to execute that a little bit more cleanly, even though the water itself is not filtered.
Yeah, we'll see which one he decides to go for. I am unsure if he's watching this restream. I know that Richard is watching what Monkley is doing, so I don't know if that will play into Monkley's decision. But looks like he is going for that 6th health, so he will be going for some extra safety in the final escape.
Excellent. I like this decision. And now he's heading across the lava swim section. Let's see if he's able to skip it. He does. He gets over that. And so now the only thing that's standing between Monkley and advancing to the finals in his division is final escape. If he gets past door work, if he gets through final escape, through the swimming section, and past the grenade jump, he doesn't even have to do the grenade jump if he gets everything clean here. He will be walking away with a win in this elimination match.
Yeah, and Richard had some very clean movement on his way down to Light Grenade, but still that puts him back. All of this movement to Horu, while Monkley just has to do this final escape. And Monkley is through to the Warp Return cutscene, so there's only one last very difficult trick. Ooh, and Richard takes a death, although he had rekindled, so that is not as costly as it could have been. He is now through that laser. Ooh, but a weak rocket jump means that he now has to wait on this second laser. So having a little bit of difficulty on this movement out. He's still quite a bit behind at this point.
And Monkley is blazing through the final escape, dumping all of his energy in that first group because grenade jumps don't cost energy if you don't. He was about low! He was really low to the flames there, but able to get the bash off the shot from the elemental. And now he's coming up to the swimming section, but with 6 HP, he's going to be able to get through here with no trouble whatsoever. And Richard is still not quite at Horu Field, so if Monkley's watching the restream, he is definitely not going to go for the grenade jump here. But he still is Melvin.
And it looks like he's successful.
Wow.
GG Monkley, an impressive finish to that run. Very clean escape. I'm still dumbfounded he didn't take damage from the lava below the elemental.
Yeah, that was insane. I cannot believe he got through there. And so, unfortunately, Richard, having watched Monkley, will know that Monkley is going to be finishing. Although Richard may not be just watching us, he's going to be trying to go through the final escape. And wow, Richard with 100% door warp accuracy, while Monkley is holding right to finish out. We'll get time for him momentarily. Let's see if Richard can keep up his streak through the tournament. And he does, wow.
Richard showing why timing door warp is the correct way to go for it, as he does not mash.
Yeah, for sure. And Richard now in the final escape. Unfortunately, this means that Richard is eliminated from the tournament because Monkley is going to be walking away with the win here. But that being said, Richard still, I'm sure, is going to put on an excellent exhibition in this final escape. Yeah, and here we go. We're seeing him just charge dash through the first room. Nicely done. Oh, is he going to be able to make this cycle? Not going for it, but nice backup to double jump up there. Not quite being able to make it over the third lantern. And nice, gets through the elemental room, no problem. But Richard, on 5 health, has to get through the swimming section, Melvin.
Well, let's see if he can do it. And looks like the first fish is in a good position. The second fish is a little low, but it's fine. And he is through with 1 health, having taken the 4 damage that he was looking to take. And looks like he will be attempting grenade jump. Oh, nope, it looks like he will be throwing away his grenades.
Down to 1/2 an energy. It's all or nothing. Is he going to get it? Oh, he gets it first try! Oh,
what an incredible show of skill there, throwing away all his energy, except for that last half energy he needed.
Oh, man. And Richard just showing he's having a good time, man. Dude, this tournament has been just so impressive to watch him work through and improve. And Monkley as well. Taking the win here is definitely going to be big for him because that's right, his next opponent is tonight. He's going to be facing against Hydra at 9 p.m. Eastern. But we're going to see if we can get in at least our winner, if not both of our runners, for an interview, Melvin.
Yes, indeed. And it looks like we will be joined by Monkley. We're just waiting on Richard to finish up. And he has a 35:15, which is still an impressive time. And kind of, I think, in the range we were expecting for this race. Monkley was just able to put up a slightly better run than their previous practices.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like we are going to be bringing in both of our runners for an interview, but we have Monkley here right now. Monkley, congrats on the win, man.
Yo, thank you.
Woo. And Richard, welcome. Congrats on the performance.
Yo, thanks, Covert. Didn't think the Death Glide was going to do me in.
Oh,
yeah, that was
and that just threw me off for the whole race. That's okay.
With an inconspicuous name like Deathglide, who would have thought?
Yeah, so why don't we go back to the beginning of the run for both of our runners. Did you guys feel really nervous coming into this, or were you just excited at the chance for another throwdown between both of you in the bracket stage?
I don't think it really hit me until wall jump that I was actually racing. I was like, I gotta dock ready and stuff like that. So I thought, so yeah, I don't know. I got to wall jump and was like, okay, I gotta put my game face on because this isn't good.
Word. How about for you, Richard?
Yeah, I don't know. Oh man.
Okay. Yeah.
That was quite a race there.
So I'm curious about the decision to go for Death Glide again after having missed it the first
Oh
time.
yeah, well I mean it's free, right? So like if you miss it once, it's like doubly free the next time.
All right, good to know that's how it works.
Yep. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, for sure. Were there any sort of like parts of the run that you guys were nervous about going into, or were you just trying to focus on the overall movement itself?
Just trying to focus on overall. There really wasn't anything in particular I was worried about. I had like a lot of sort of like hindsight, I guess. Like as I got to climb, and I'm like, you know, I didn't drop that save even though I had 1 energy. Like I probably should have dropped the save because I looked over. He was at Rich was at like charge jump. I was like, I could if I just died right there, I could have been at Sunstone again. Like, you know.
Yeah.
So if I had thought about that, I would have been a little worried. But you know, I got there and it was fine. So other than that, though, I mean, I had all that spaghetti, but I had enough of a lead that it didn't concern me too much.
Yeah, were you watching the restream, Monkley?
Yes, yes, I was.
Oh, okay, cool.
Good man.
Yeah, how about you for you, Richard? Were there parts that you were preparing?
So I'm just gonna tell you a story of emotional story here. Okay,
All
so
right.
the run starts off. You know, I'm kind of nervous, and then actually Death Glide happens, and a wave of relief like flows through me because it's like I'm so incredibly far behind now that I can just play my game and just whatever. It doesn't matter because like Monkley's probably gonna win from this point. So. You know, so I'm just like chugging along here, and then we get to the stomp area. All right, and when I say we, I mean Monkley and the water. All right, so this is like this slight like inkling in the back of my mind that maybe something will go, you know, horribly wrong for him. Of course, it doesn't. And then we get to the misty area and the, you know, all the spaghetti that he had there, and then like this other like just like a little twinge in the back of my mind is like, hey. Well, maybe something will happen, but nothing did. So, good job, Monkley.
Oh my god, that swamp! I like. So I was just kind of playing it by ear because, you know, I don't know. I started to fall in the water. I was like, I don't know what to do, and I was like, you know, so I just started swimming over there. I was like, maybe I can like bash the fish up, and then I was at 1 health. I was like, maybe I can get the fish towards the surface of the water and get him, and then he was just nowhere to be seen. So after I fell in the water and then died and, you know, like was back at my save, I was like, oh, I have invincibility. I can climb up the wall right there. Like, so that was fly stuff that didn't occur to me until my first death. But I kind of sat there with a blank expression on my face, like I don't know what to do.
Well, it was an impressive recovery to a very unique situation that I don't think we've seen before.
So I probably wouldn't have even thought of it if it hadn't been Stafu, maybe?
Yeah, it was Stafu that went over there and did some shenanigans to get up.
Right. Like,
of course it was Stafu.
It could have been a lot worse, but shout out to
He chose
Stafu.
not to save over there, so that if he had died, he at least would have just gone back to the normal movement from the ghost door.
Well, yeah. See, if my mind could work as fast as my fingers, that would be great. But I was like, all right, I'm at 1 health. I can save. I can get back another health and maybe like swim back over. Not thinking like I have a save right on the other side of the water. I can just dash into these spikes and be over there instantly. So,
Boom.
oh well.
It ended up working out great, and it was a very impressive use of those death iframes that we don't normally see in the All Skills run.
Right.
Yeah, so quick question for Richard. You know, coming into this tournament, after your last All Skills tournament, you went 0-3 in group stage, and this one you went 3-0 in group stage, which was absolutely insane to see. How are you feeling about your overall tournament performance, and do you have any words of wisdom for Monkley as he heads into his next match?
Yeah, well, my words of wisdom are beat Hydra, because Hydra is completely free to beat. I just wanted to play against Monkley again, instead of, you know, knocking Hydra down. So yeah, that's it. I'm generally happy with my tournament performance. As you saw at the end there with my wonderful grenade jump, you know, you don't need all the energy for grenade jump. You only need half of an energy. And yeah, so congrats, Monkley. Good luck later tonight, because we scheduled it so that Hydra would have to play tonight. So,
Thank you.
And Monkley, is there anything you're going to be practicing in the couple of hours you have before your race against Hydra?
No. I mean, that's much different than what I should be doing, but ultimately, no, I'm just going to fly by the seat of my pants. It's gotten me this far.
Awesome. Great. Well, thank you guys both for joining me and Meldon in the interview. That being said, the next race tonight is indeed going to be that match for the division finals, which is going to be Monkley versus Hydra. And Monkley, if he wants to move on to the round of 8, has to win 2 games in a row, whereas Hydra, because he's coming from the upper bracket, only has to actually win 1 match. So stay tuned. Look forward to 9 p.m. EDT. And that'll be over on Speed Gaming too. But Meldon, thanks so much for joining me for commentary. That was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, indeed. And that's all from us, but there is some Super Mario Sunshine on SG3 immediately following this. So stick around here, watch some of that, and then come around for the Ori race later.
Yeah, see you guys. Have a good evening.
Good evening.
Damage as they head through. So, ooh, nice job. Wow, Yoko. Oh,
no, Yoko. Oh my goodness. Please be careful.
He hasn't taken any like really bad deaths as a result, but no! Why did I say that? Why did I say that?
Yeah, true shade. So we're going to see what Didu decides to do. Nice safety save there. And wow, the value from the safety save.
The trick itself requires precisely positioning a frog and managing your XP, but because that can happen, because that froggy has a chair and it can stomp it right on your tiny little head.
Oh god, Meldon, get out of there!
Holy crap, the recovery from that.
It's deceptive. Ooh, deceptively difficult. Rufus.
Holy
so
crap, Rufus.
Oh,
oh god.
Is it?
And what is happening now?
I don't know.
Oh, Monkley shot going through.
Oh, jeez, missed the double bash though. He's gotta go back up. Monkley's shots are phasing the floor. I hope he does not hit that on the upper one. Jeez, he's broken his swamp.
Monkley getting hit by the shot.
Metal that Terra did. Oh, missing that, but he's got the backup. That's okay. Oh my gosh.
Oh god.
Oh my gosh. Okay, try again. This time you can get to the platform.
What you've seen from runners like Lucidus, Uncle Ronnie, and Eviona so far in the tournament, and oh wow!
Damn.
I do not know how he survived.
Both runners getting that 5th.
Oh, Randomson had a really... Wow, what a nice backup, though. Randomson had trouble with the first spider shot, but now it's basically tied.
Go stomp the rocks. And oh.
Fluffy, what
I didn't know you could do that.
Oh,
you really just keep moving and skip that cutscene?
Oh god, Ori's in the air! Hello!
Oh no, oh Frankie. Frankie, please go away. Oh, that is so painful.
Oh, this is a party. Luckily, he does have a safety.
Yeah, mini boss not quite going according to plan. Meldon's gonna go with the stomp spam. Keep that frog away. Get out of here. Don't hit me with your chair. He says he gets through it okay, and we'll be just finishing up Misty.
The section is really difficult with the 5 health. Alright, he gets the bash off of the fish. So yeah, he gets through, but upcoming here is
he's gone through!
Oh, he died! Death! Richard is in the lead. No, they're tied. Richard just died as well.
What?
This is literally synced in the final escape, guys. Unbelievable.
They both stopped the thing together. Okay.
Each one of those grenades costs 1. He's got 1 left. That's enough for 2 grenade jump attempts. If he keeps missing in that particular way, he's got 1 chance left.
1 more.
And he gets it. The
first try, and well, not first try, but you know what? First try.
We'll call it first try.